Daniel Vitalis is making ripples. He's not here today to point fingers or find fault or fight about food. Because I don't know if you're familiar with Durian Rider.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Are you familiar with Durian Rider?
Yeah, and I don't want to give much energy to him. I feel he's really somebody who's using a parasitic energy.
Right. No, but I'm just...
I think it's an unfortunate thing he's doing. But essentially, I think what we'll see with someone like him is if he's actually doing what he claims he does, we'll see him crash eventually, and we'll see him fall by the wayside.
So why would Daniel say such a nasty thing? Maybe Daniel really cares about my well-being, and he doesn't want me to make any mistakes. So, to help understand where he's coming from, let's listen as Daniel shares his experiences on a fruit-based, raw vegan lifestyle.
I remember, getting my mother to buy me a case of grapes, and I had this big 40-pound box of grapes. And
so Daniel, you can hear him exclaim, like, 40-pound box of grapes, like, that's insane, 40 pounds of grapes. How long is that going to last? I mean, 40 pounds, that's about that's about 10,000 calories, so that's about 4 days worth, 4 days worth if you're not doing much. 10,000 calories, 2,500 calories a day. So listen how long that's going to last him.
And I just ate grapes for 2 weeks.
2 weeks. So eating grapes for 2 weeks, I said it lasted 4 days, so Daniel was doing it 14 days on 40 pounds of grapes, so that's about, quick math, 750 calories a day for a grown adult. I don't know about you, but 750 calories a day, that's going to drop you off the deep end. So let's listen to where Daniel went with that.
Fortnight, then what did you do? Did you go crazy and add a watermelon or something?
Yeah, before I'd ever done that, I was doing things like just instinctively, we would go buy 3 or 4 watermelons and only eat that for days at a time.
3 or 4 watermelons, like we. So we would go and buy 3 or 4 watermelons, and that would last us for days at a time. 3 or 4 watermelons. I mean, that might. How big is the melon? Is it that big, or is it a 20-pounder? Even a 20-pound melon, you're getting maybe 1,500 calories from that. So if you're getting 4 20-pound melons, that's 6,000 calories. If that's lasting you 3 or 4 days, again, you're around the 1,000 calorie mark. 1,200 calories, 1,500 calories. Still not enough for a grown adult. Let's listen on more.
I was thinking, so know what I was doing, but I just really believed the market every day, and I would buy my food for that day, and I didn't keep like a lot of food at the house or make meals. I just sort of eat, fruits primarily.
So again, that's where the mistake is. We always have a large amount of fruit with us. Either boxes of dates, boxes of bananas, boxes of mangoes, whatever's in season, whatever's easy to get. We always have a lot about us. We don't, just shop every day. I mean, that's sort of inexperienced people who sort of do that. Interesting. So listen more.
And then, some lettuce or some carrots or whatever, and nuts. But not eating any vegetables. Definitely, again, not eating those superfoods. I wasn't eating salt. So I was primarily living off fruit, and I ended up taking off to my way into eating more and more salads and more.
So here we go. Daniel says primarily fruit, but includes the nuts. When he says nuts, he emphasizes and nuts, And most raw foodies, I mean, I've done it. Everyone's done it. You go hardcore on the nuts. You're getting maybe all your calories from nuts, and you're thinking of getting it from fruit, and you wonder why your gut hurts. It's a newbie mistake. Understandable.
Or heavier green vegetables, just because of I feel personally after a while on a fruitarian diet, there's a crash that happens.
Really? Because that's what I was going to...
That's the crash. You're living on 750 calories a day, whatever, from grapes for a few weeks, and then you jump over for the melons, and then you're eating more fruit, but you're not really buying much. You're not having any at home. You have to go shopping at the supermarket. I mean, the supermarket for fruit is pretty average. The quality's pretty poor. It's usually unripe. So if you go to the supermarket and you're shopping for fruit, chances are almost, I'd say 99% of the time, you go to a supermarket, there's not even any fruit you can eat there. There's maybe melons and some sour apples. Rarely there's ripe bananas. Rarely. Occasionally there might be some dates. I'll take that. Daniel didn't specify what fruits he was eating, the quantity, the consistency, how much he's getting his calories in, and his total calorie volume. So it's very subjective. It's sort of like, I went to the northern hemisphere and I went to this country and they had roads and there were some mountains there and so I don't really like the northern hemisphere, because you shouldn't go to the northern hemisphere because it didn't work for me. So you're going to get dropped off the deep end if you go to the northern hemisphere and visit this certain country. I don't know which country it was. I can't specify objectively, but it had roads and mountains and so that's not good. So, you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
I'm interested because I don't know if you're familiar with Durian Rider.
Sorry, say that again?
Are you familiar with Durian Rider?
Daniel's like, what? How did Durian Rider get into the conversation? He's following me everywhere. What's going on here?
Yeah, and I don't want much energy to him. I feel he's really somebody who's using a parasitic energy to try to get his name out there.
Right. No, but I'm just...
I think it's an unfortunate thing he's doing, but essentially I think what we'll see with someone like him is if he's actually doing what he claims he does, we'll see him crash eventually, and we'll see him fall by the wayside because that diet is actually it's absolutely experimental. And one of the ideas that I've been trying to infuse, and in the beginning, and you fairly said in your introduction of me, live off sweet fruit, and that of course he's basically just ripping off the work of a guy called Doug Graham.
I'm ripping off the work of Doug Graham. I've plagiarised Doug's book, and me and Doug aren't friends, and there's no connection there at all.
They're saying that the natural diet of the original people was a high sugar fruit diet. Now, what's funny about that is we know that's not true. I mean, there's a consensus agreement amongst everybody but the fruitarian movement.
Really? I mean, there's a good book called Left in the Dark. That's a book one could read. I mean, saying that humans haven't evolved on sweet fruit when we love sweet foods, when we die from excess cholesterol, whenever your cell in a human body runs on glucose, when if you don't get enough glucose, you go into ketosis and you get, hypoglycemia symptoms where it's like, what? I mean, people perform better on fruit, on carbohydrate foods, and there's people out there like Daniel Vitale saying that's not true. That's not true. Like, you don't have thumbs for peeling fruit, and you don't have a sweet tooth. Sweet tooth's your addiction. Listen to me. Sweet tooth's your addiction. You can't eat sweet foods. That's like, and then Daniel talks about honey. Says honey's the best food ever. I mean, it's like, again, it's a blind leading the blinds. People who are sincere, just sincerely wrong. And they're saying, no judgment. It's like, whatever. I tell people to judge. That's the ability to critically think's been lost in this spiritual hippie self-help world. People say, don't judge now. Don't judge, don't judge, I'm not into judging. Doing right is a piece of shit. Parasitic poop is going to get dropped off the deep end. I don't judge. I judge, definitely. I encourage people to judge. What's BS, what's fact and fiction. Judge by results, not my theory.
About what you're sort of a crash, because you eat that much sugar, perhaps if your body just eventually fall apart. Your body doesn't really see fructose much differently than it sees other types of sugars. Fructose is...
So we got, Daniel's quoting studies done on genetically modified high fructose corn syrup, and he's saying, well, even the fruits in the Amazon that had never been cultivated, they got, couldn't eat them, so what? I mean, it's just, people just have no idea. Anyone can be a health expert these days, but it's like, he's given advice to raw fooders, and the raw food lifestyle he did was like a starvation diet. I mean, Enough of this, like, oh, well, you shouldn't say that, Harley, you shouldn't say that. It's like, people are dying, people are lying, people are getting fried. They're binging on crap food because they're thinking, oh, I'm just eating to numb my emotions or whatever. I've had enough of it. I'm going to speak up. Crazy. So what can we learn from all this? I do a lot of criticising, and underneath the topsoil of my sarcasm and tainted, jaded behaviour is an aquifer of sincerity. I really want to help people. So I like to, if I'm going to point the finger, I like to offer the other hand with some assistance. So what can we learn from Daniel's experiences? One, the 10 biggest things I'll tell you that right now. The 10 biggest reasons raw food is stuff up. Doesn't matter who your name is, who you know, how much money you've made in the raw food industry, you know, who your guru is or where you've worked, whatever, you know. None of that really matters if you don't take care of these 10 basic fundamental, you know, mistakes that people make on the raw food journey. So, you ready? One is people think sweet fruit is the enemy. You know, they've bought into some hybridization BS where, like, you know, you can't eat that because that's hybridized. I'll tell you what, ask any botanist if there's a plant on the planet that isn't hybridized, and they'll tell you no, all plants are hybridized. All animals are hybridized. Ask any biologist. There's a difference between hybridization and genetic modification. You know, I'm not promoting GM foods, definitely not. We know that. But hybridized foods, you cannot avoid them, eat them, enjoy them, relax. It's just a freaking banana. Two, the second biggest mistake people make is they think they need to calorie restrict. You know, I recommend at least 3,000 calories a day for adults. People go, holy, 3,000 calories a day, that's too much fruit, I'll get fat on all that fruit. Do I look fat? Have you ever met a fat fruit eater? Neither have I. And I've offered a $10,000 reward. If you can show me the fat, chubby fruit eater, I'll show you the money. So calorie restriction, that's for anorexics. Three, they think they can fast their way to health. They think if I just fast enough, I'll be pure, and I can just reset my switch, and I won't get all these cravings. And you know, I was talking to a friend the other day, he's going, oh, if I just fast, everything will be okay, Harley. I'm like, no, it's not, man. You know, our housemate died last year fasting, trying to reset their switch from eating issues. Doesn't work, man. You know, you got to change your eating. You got to eat enough. If raw food's your goal, okay, I'm assuming you're watching this because your raw food's your goal. Eat enough sweet fruit. Get enough calories in. 3,000 calories a day. And if you think it's too much food, live more. Eat more fruit to live more. You know, heck with this sitting on the couch. Oh, well, you know, just heck with that. Let's get out there and move, man. Let's change this planet. And you're not going to do that under eating. You need a lot of fuel, massive amounts. The fourth biggest reason is people think they don't need to drink water. I think if I just eat enough fruit, if I just eat watermelon, I don't need to drink any water. You know, that's okay. It's not. You need to drink water for water's sake. Wake up in the morning, drink your liter of water. You know, flush that system with water. Water's in the brain, man. It's not watermelon juice. It's not coconut juice. It's water. So if you're drinking coconut juice, you better have to filter the water out and then use it. Let's just drink water for water's sake. Drink enough water so your urine is always clear, at least 10 times a day and a couple times a night. Urine, yes, at night time. People go, I don't want to get up at night time and go to the wee. Do it, man. You'll have way more energy. Get over it. 5, people think they need to sleep less as a raw fooder. Most people sleep less on raw food is because they're just under eating. And they're sitting up at night going, can't sleep, pizza, pasta, corn chips, rice. They're freaking out because they're not eating enough carbs, the body's not producing enough serotonin, which turns into melatonin, and they can't sleep properly. Number 6, people think they're emotional eaters. They think, oh, I'm eating so much fruit because I'm emotional eating. That's the biggest thing you're going to have to drop. I don't believe in emotional eating. I believe people are just hungry. Hungry for sweet foods, fruit. Eat enough fruit, life's cute, forget the emotional eating BS. Ever seen a cow emotionally eat grass? Me either. They think that calories don't matter. Calories do matter, I'll tell you that now. Calories aren't absolute, but they give us the best guideline, the ballpark figure. People say, oh, I just ate a banana. You look at these bananas. One's going to see that. So use calories, don't just say, oh, I ate a banana. How big was the banana? So calories do matter. Get at least 3,000 calories a day. People think they have to exercise. That's number 8. Biggest reason people, stuff like that. I don't have to exercise. Exercise is not for spiritual people. I just sit down and meditate, and your lymphatic system mainly gets pumped through muscular contraction. So get out there and move. All these raw food gurus, you ever wonder why they're out of shape? It's because they're under eating on sweet fruit. They've got no energy. They have to drink cacao, chaga, ayahuasca, magic mushrooms, peyote, organic coffee, green tea to get some pump because they're just so under carb. They're like, what? What was the question? People think they have to take drugs to feel fine. It's bullshit, man. You don't need drugs. Save drugs for an emergency situation when you had a car accident and you need some more morphine to get over it. Say no to drugs, man. Say no to drugs, get hooked on health and fitness. And then 10, people think, well, I need to consume animal products. I need to have a sip of goat's milk, a little bit of colostrum now and then, don't I? I mean, it's like insane. People say you can't eat bananas, but you can drink goat's breast milk. Bananas, bad. Goat's milk. So is that some like quote out of an animal bestiality video on some internet site somewhere? You need animal products? I mean, it's like, that's just a whole another video. So that's the 10 biggest reasons people get dropped off the deep end. Okay, simple as that. So short and sweet. I don't talk to impress people. I say what needs to be said. Thank you for watching.